Hi boys and girls, today for our Vacation Bible School craft we are creating a woven bowl and you are going to learn how to weave it yourself. So here's an example of mine and I'm already using it to hold some art supplies in. And our theme for today is no fear, and sometimes when we are faced with a project or something we have not done before, we get maybe a little nervous or fearful about how it's going to go. And so today we're going to have no fear and we are going to try something new. If you've done weaving before, you know that it's really fun and can be kind of relaxing. And if you haven't, I'm excited for you to give it a try. So like I said, here is my example, my woven bowl. And I have some supplies in it. If I take the supplies out, you can see kind of what it would look like on the inside. So you see it's woven on the inside and then sort of the woven design on the outside. So the materials that we need for this are a styrofoam bowl, which you should have in your Vacation Bible School craft kit, some scissors, and then some yarn, all right? And you can use thick yarn, you can use thin yarn, you can use different colors if you want to get fancy and change the sort of the design of your weaving. My example is just one solid color. If you have other yarn at home and you want to change it up, I'll show you how to do that too. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our styrofoam bowl, we're gonna flip it over, and we're gonna create some little marks. And I just used a little pencil to do this, and I made 5 little marks that are sort of evenly spaced out, and that is where we're gonna cut our bowl to create these little areas where we're gonna weave. So I've spaced them out. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little tick marks. And then with my scissors, I'm gonna cut into the bowl. Styrofoam is super easy to cut, and all I'm doing is I'm just cutting it from the edge all the way to kind of where that curve is on the bowl. And I'm doing it at all 5 spots. And we're doing 5 because we need it to be an odd number for our weaving. But really, in weaving, as long as it's an odd number, you can change it up a little bit. So there we go. So this is kind of what the bowl should look like. You should be able to pull it apart like that and it should look kind of like a flower shape. Okay, that way we are ready to go. So I'm going to take my yarn and I'm going to start it on the inside. So I'm just going to push it through the styrofoam right here, and I'm going to tie this into a little knot, and that way it's not going to try to move around on me. So I'm just tying this into a knot. So younger boys and girls, have your parents help you with that. So I have a little knot in there right up against sort of that part that I cut, and then I'm ready to start. And weaving is really just a pattern. It's a pattern that's over, under, over, under, over, under. Or with a styrofoam bowl, we're gonna go on the outside of the bowl, okay? And then we're gonna pull our yarn to the inside, and we're gonna go on the inside of the bowl. So our pattern's a little different. It's gonna be outside of the bowl, inside of the bowl, and then outside of the bowl, inside of the bowl. And you're gonna keep doing this all the way around. And what's gonna happen is as you're doing it and you're kind of pulling your yarn, right, when you get back here, it's gonna switch. So you're going outside, inside. And once you've made a full lap around, you will see that the yarn will start like laying on top of the other pieces you haven't done. You do need to pay attention so that you are continuing to go outside, inside, outside, inside. So here, I've gone around a full time, so now I'm coming back to this side, and this piece is gonna lay on top of that one. All right, so I'm gonna keep going. So I'm on an inside, and I'm pulling tight, not too tight, but tight enough that it's not kind of flopping around. So then I'm on an inside, outside, inside, and it becomes sort of a nice pattern as you keep going. Make sure you're paying attention though so you can keep your pattern going. Now what's gonna happen here is my yarn is gonna run out, all right? So I wanna show you what you can do if that happens. So right here, my yarn has run out, but I still have more to weave on my bowl. So I'm gonna take another piece of yarn and I'm just going to attach it here. So I'm just going to tie this in a knot, and that way I can keep going. And this is also a point where if you have other yarn at home and you want to get fancy and create some kind of other design, you can attach another piece of yarn to it. So let's say I wanted to mix this up and switch to this thinner red yarn. All I do is I just tie this in a knot on here, and then I can keep going. All right, so I can keep going, and then my new yarn will show. All right. So boys and girls, weaving is super fun, especially once you get going. There's lots of different ways to weave. Weaving on a styrofoam bowl or on a cup at home is kind of a fun way to start learning how to weave. So this is what it should look like when you're finished. The last little finishing step I did was I just took my scissors and I went along and I just cut off that little sort of rim of the bowl that was sticking up, so that we just saw just a little bit of the styrofoam, but mostly the yarn. So, all right, boys and girls, have fun weaving today. Now get to work.